Hello everyone. A while back there was out of nowhere a bit a post made by Ubisoft Nadeo on their official Twitter that linked to their website about sudden pricing changes to the Trackmania model. And let's just say like that, the instantaneous response for most people was a bit more leaning on the negative side for sure. And we'll go through all of this situation, what had happened, and we'll try to also understand the reasoning, because this was a while back. Now we have started to see a bit more of the full picture of the situation, and we'll try to go in the depths of it, try to figure out why it was the case, how it happened, and let's just say like some hints have definitely been dug up by the community during the last few weeks on why such things could potentially are the main catalysts of why such a change did happen. We'll kind of go through some of the things and what will be changed, what's not, and let's see what has been happening around this situation. Before we go in depth, a very important thing to clarify is that at the time of making this video, I'm currently contracted by Ubisoft Nadeo. However, this is mainly regarding the official tournament operations for Trackmania World Tour, especially the World Championship state. I have not been involved in any of the decisions that were involved regarding this specific topic, nor my opinions represents the decisions of the studio, because I'm just a person who is doing the operational tasks for the esport. I think that's something to clarify, just in case some from official sides don't think this is me representing their brand, or from people who are outside of the scene thinking this is some kind of official person. This is just me as a individual, just giving an insight from my own perspective and with all the facts and public information that has been available. Anyway, let's go into details outside of that clarification. So let's go through the article, let's give some additional comments, and then I'll give a bit of a, let's just say the potential reasonings why such a thing did happen. Also, I'll give my own thoughts on the situation as well. So, dear players, we would like to share with you an important upcoming change regarding the Trackmania offer. While the console release has surpassed our highest expectations in terms of both amount of players and playing time, we need to adapt the quantity of content given for free with the starter access to better match the way the game is played. We also have to be realistic and compare the situation with the efforts made by the studio. So this already kind of hints that, console version was doing pretty good. I would say the last year, a lot of people have been coping quite a bit and trying to have like a very, very unreasonable expectations about the game, especially from community or people from third party. And I would say for the size of the studio and what Nadeo is, like, I think they did an insane job so far, for sure. But very, very understandable there needs to be some changes made, because, well, let's just go into the details and we'll see what's will be happening here. As a result, we have decided that going forward, Trackmania Starter Access, which is the free version of the game, will give access to 10 free tracks at each season. Starter Access will continue to provide free access to Royal and Ranked game modes, including the full tracks, and the first 10 campaign tracks in solo and live menus. Starter Access will also retain access to the arcade channel, which allows them to explore and enjoy finest creations crafted by fellow players. This will be applicable with the Winter 2020 update. So what is happening here is that starting next year, Starter Access, or the free version of the game, will have some things reduced a bit. Especially the main thing that people have been pointing out is the amount of maps people can play at the campaign. So a lot of people will be wondering, wait, why on earth is this then happening? Well, from all my experience with a lot of people from doing events and having chatting with people who are very casual about the game, main reasons why people do play the game is campaign and Cup of the Day or Track of the Day. That's literally it for 95% of the players who actually play the game, or maybe even a bigger number than that percentually wise. And the rest of the people do their mappings, replay editor stuff, community events, and things like that. But majority play for campaign and Cup of the Day. And the thing is, only paid content between those two things I mentioned is only Track of the Day or Cup of the Day, because majority of people, from what I have observed, especially from casual scene, are only paying for the game just to play Cup of the Day or Track of the Day. And maybe someone gets for skins, but majority is literally just to play those game modes. And of course, the biggest thing in the game is the campaign. And majority of players who play the game play the free content. And if you think from business sense, like there's majority of people that play Trackmania don't, Nadeo is not benefiting from that at all. in many other games that have a free-to-play model, most of the time there's microtransactions or some kind of other means of ways to, benefit the game. And in Trackmania, basically none of it's happening. And this is also one of the main reasons why TMNF actually was while it was a very successful game, it kind of caused to, let's say, not the best decisions just to, let's say, benefit the player's experience. While we nowadays, I would say the standard is literally free-to-play model with MTX games and bottle passes and stuff like that. It's just Trackmania model is not the standard compared to other games. And one of the ways how to convert these free users into paying users is to limit the access, considering that's literally one of the biggest things that people play in the game who are very, very casual about Trackmania. But other things, the main thing is just to notice is the free just 10 tracks. One important thing now with this change is that they really need to stop advertising the game as free to play. That's the number one thing I feel like with this change. Because it's gonna backfire more and more and more and more. They literally just need to call the free version a demo, and that's it. One thing that a lot of people have also brought up, that ranked will still include the full tracks. So people who have not been following that scene that much, at the start of 2023, when World Tour circuit was announced, there was matchmaking part of the circuit. And one of the ideas there is that in ranked, there was where the World Tour easy set maps introduced part of the matchmaking. The thing is, free players can play matchmaking. They were running into these World Tour maps in the ranked games out of nowhere, and World Tour maps are way, way, way harder. Even the easy versions were so much more harder than the hardest campaign maps, and you had just so much. From my personal experience, there were so many matches absolutely sabotaged by these free players who could not even practice the maps, and this is basically the same thing that I can see popping up as a problem. Like imagine, for example, queuing ranked and you get map 25, for example, and you have never seen it, and yeah, it's not going to be the best experience, neither for the player playing the game and or the player who is on the other side, who gently wants, have fun in ranked and, I don't know, improve their get out of gold or something like that. So that's definitely one of the biggest issues that has brought up to this. So let's go now into the next article. Be sure we understand that many of you have become accustomed to playing the full campaign for free, and we would have preferred us to keep it that way. This adjustment is being made to ensure that we can keep on providing starter access users with various free content. Our primary goal is to keep Trackmania live as long as possible and have it enjoyed by maximum players. Okay, there's a bit of a Franglish moment. From around the world, thanks to the right balance for players who play for free and others who making it possible for 2 decades. And I guess we can continue with the article because we're basically at the end, and then we're going to go into the biggest chatting moment. We will also streamline the Trackmania offers by merging the content of both standard and club accesses into single club access offer for the annual cost of €20 or 20 USD. Players currently on standard or club accesses will maintain their status until their access expires. This will also be applicable within the next winter 2024 update. Finally, to better accommodate real-life constraints, we're targeting the new release for the date of winter campaign 2024. Feel free to note your calendar. The new date is set for January 9th. Meanwhile, the Trackmania 20th anniversary is approaching late November, which is around the same time as the World Championship is happening, so who knows what will be there. We're looking forward to having you join us for the incredible milestone. Thank you for the understanding and continued support for 20 years, Ubisoft Nadiot. Alright, so one of the biggest drops here is that no longer starting next year there's going to be standard or club accesses, and there's just going to be just club access. Honestly, this has been a very, very good change from my personal point of view, because there were so many people confused all the time. Do I need to get standard? Do I need to get club? Just one paid version, and that's it. The big problem here is that, well, from consumer point of view, it is a good thing that the price is reduced, especially nowadays with all the recessions and economic inflations. Like the fact that they're reducing the highest paying price, which was previously 30 a year, is a massive good thing. Also, Trackmania is one of the cheaper live service games where realistically pay-per-user amount as well has happened, which from consumer side is also a good thing. But for people who just want standard access, I feel like the increased price then needs to be justified. There needs to be a bit more paid content, because majority of the content that has been into the game, like official content, majority it has been also for free users. Royal was for free users, Ranked is for free users. The only exclusive content that appeared for paying users was the Cup of the Day or Track of the Day. However, a very important thing that is for Trackmania, majority of the content that is happening, that was mentioned also right here, is that is coming from the community. And a very important thing that I really need to clarify, I feel like, saying from my personal experience, is that, yeah, but Nadeo doesn't support community stuff. Like, that's a very common argument. I believe Randomized made a whole rant that the North American scene is not getting any support or acknowledgement from their side. The thing is that Nadeo has been supporting a lot of community events, tournaments, events. Like, they have always been supportive. You have to just reach out to them. If you just sit in your own corner expecting that something will happen to you, it's just not gonna happen. You gotta reach out. You gotta, see that you have like these cool ideas, and they can genuinely help you. And this is one of the things that has been very underutilized within the TM scene. There are a lot of these amazing perks, features that Nadeo has actually developed for community to have their events, stuff like that, working way better, even supporting their events. It's just most of the time it doesn't go through content creators, so none of it, or like it's not really spoken loudly enough, and it gets usually dismissed. And then they usually see stuff like this, and or people just molding your game is carried by community and stuff like that, which honestly is true. It's true. Let's be real. No denying there, but the fact that there have been also supporting all these community events and stuff like that is completely unacknowledged from Trackmania player base side as well. And I feel like that's one of the things. One thing that's making it be a bit iffy, and maybe something that if you have been going through Reddit, a lot of people, especially a lot of dedicated players, have been really, really wanting to see microtransactions in Trackmania. Keep in mind, this is coming from the more dedicated people within the scene. More casual people, like, don't really, care about MTXs, have been some be very outspoken, but the main reason is because there are like custom third-party stores that exist around Trackmania where people are selling their own skins, and most of that money is directly going to these skin creators and for events, which is really, really good thing, honestly. The thing is, it's not officially acknowledged, so the amounts that usually goes through these third-party stores, and they look also a bit shady at times, it's not official, it's not acknowledged, and also Nadeo is not getting anything out of it. And the main thing here is why they're doing this change is basically to convert more free players into paying users, which is fine. It's just you need to know about the content in the first place to see it, because the only public in the face content, if you're not aware of community, is only Cup of the Day, Track of the Day, maybe skins realistically. So I feel like if such a change, if such a need for conversion needs to happen, there needs to be a bit more awareness into the game. Yes, there are very, very good ways how to get it done. I also really like the latest updates where there was like this video panel at the start of the game, which I think is really, really cool to have insights what's happening in the game. Maybe it can link to like Twitch channels when events are happening, because there's a lot of like things going on in Trackmania, but if you're just sitting into the game, you don't know what's happening. Only good thing that has been happening is when they made Mania pubs public. But I feel like at most, like at 30 people know how to set them up. Mania pubs basically are these ads that appear in the game, either on custom banners, and they also allow you to put a link that kind of leads you to other places. And then for a split second, if you have ads enabled in the game, then you can see all the community events. But then again, if you are paying a dedicated player, you're not gonna see about those events, because most people have the ads displayed, because sometimes there's actually companies promoting some stuff in the game, and there's also in a mix of people promoting their events, and there's like this weird situation then, because there's people who want to promote their tournaments so they get more people, so they're aiming people who are paying users so they can also play, but most of them have those ads or Mania pubs disabled and then you can't really see that there's an event being advertised or and stuff like that, which is a very weird thing, especially coming from a third-party tournament organizer. Recently we did an event called Comic-Con Baltic, one of the biggest Trackmania tournaments we have in our region, where we have even a lot of content creators playing in. And I'll be honest, the Mania Club reach was amazing. I was honestly way more surprised, but the problem is most of the reach was either people who are free access or people who boot up a console and stuff like that, but not really people from the dedicated TM scene. And most people who play in these or engage in these events are the dedicated ones. So it's like a bit not the right target audience in a sense. The good thing about that event example that there were literally people from I will not mention the company, but a very known brand who had Trackmania put it up at their workplace, and they literally saw about the event due to those mania pubs that were rotating when they were playing like what's the game, hot seat, when they were playing hot seat at their work office, and that's how they saw about the event, which is honestly one of the craziest stories I have heard. But these kind of things at least did help more people acknowledge about events that happen. But again, it's like targeting the casual audience about things that's, it's targeted for the dedicated audience. And it's like all these, small nuances that are happening. But yeah, the biggest, if we jump back a bit to the topic about 10 free tracks, this has been the biggest turnoff for most people. I personally think that this should have been the case either from the beginning. So now, of course, taking away something that they had is, not always the best thing. But I can very, very understand why Nadeo is doing it. Because recently there was a public, there are these, since Ubisoft itself, like the publisher, has a lot of these studios under them. I believe it's like 20, 30 studios, and Ubisoft Nadeo is one of them. And they have they do the public financial reports, and you can see all of the details, how much money they gain, lose, and stuff like that. And what it came up is that from Ubisoft itself, like globally, is not, let's say they're not in the best financial state right now. But for Ubisoft Nadeo itself, is that Trackmania, despite, not having the most aggressive, marketing model, or not marketing, the pricing model, was doing not too shabby. However, they had been doing a lot of canceled projects behind the scenes where they had been spending ridiculous amounts of resources, which is like really, really pushing them financially. And that's why many people want to see like empty access, because it can, support the studio, support the game, support the events. There's so many people who have been asking to have empty access just to support the esports scene, just to have more prize pools, more ways to support the teams, have like rev share models to empty access like Rainbow Six, Rocket League, League of Legends has, and League of Legends has their own thing, but more like CS has, or Counter-Strike has these kind of systems in place. And that's kind of one of the main people's why people want to see empty access. If it's empty access out of nowhere and doesn't support like the people, studio creators and stuff like that, then people are gonna be not too biggest fans, even the higher end. But if it does support all these community projects, then yeah, then it gives the official acknowledgements like, okay, this is the official way how we can support it. And that's why many people are in favor of things like battle passes and empty access. I think that's a very important thing to clarify, because so many people see like, and they immediately like talk down these dedicated people, which I can very understand if you look from a basic consumer perspective, but if you look from dedicated community person, then like the perception of the specific thing is a bit different. So yeah, anyway, now the pricing model, since it's now reduced, this is the same thing that I talked about. I don't know if this will actually, what's gonna happen. My prediction is that there's gonna be some less people with standard access not renewing it, because they just want to play Cup of the Day, and since the main thing they just want to play Cup of the Day, now they literally need to play twice just to play that one thing that they just want to do. Then Nadeo really needs to justify it and make more payable content that people play often. So one of the things that I really want is that there's, I don't know, some more, not Cup of the Days, but more like events, more kind of exclusive stuff you can do with the new club access. So it's like the pricing model is gently justified, because there's way too much free content already, and most people are not even aware of all of the free content. People are not aware of all of the paid content. People, like I said, just see campaign, just see track of that, two things. That's it for 95% of people. They don't see these other things, and they either need to showcase them in game better, so people don't see this pricing increase just for Cup of the Day, which is currently a thing that's happening right now. And we'll have to see what happens with that. Personally, I am I'm a bit leaning on the positive side, that it's merged. It's a good thing, because previously having just standard club access just makes sense. There's just one paid tier, one demo tier, that's it. Simpler system, that's way better personally. Limiting to free access is a bit sketch, especially considering that it will impact random mode. For me personally, one of the main reasons why so many people have been asking me to make a new ranked mode update video, what are the best things to learn. Nowadays, ranked has made literally, you can just play ranked. The more you play it, the more XP you'll get. Literally, the MMR, it's not called the elo system. It's not MMR is literally called XP in the game's code. The more you play it, the higher you get. There were literally people in the previous season who had been starting with the exact same season, Trackmania, and they were like top 20, top 10 world just because they were playing like 500 ranked games or something ridiculous like that. So that has been a thing that happens in ranked. So it's like there's no point of playing. It's literally the person who is number one is who plays the most. That's literally what's happening there. And the sad thing is that's the only way how you can get rounds modes like with easy access. There's sadly not many rounds mode servers nowadays. Rounds mode is literally my favorite game mode, but sadly it does not exist in the same scope as it was in some previous games. And so many people have been requesting to have a proper competitive queue with proper maps that mimics the competitives, and it's like it doesn't do the justice for rank. The amount of feedback for that, like when I was doing the feedback surveys for regionals, for Rotor, like so many people requesting that there is an easy to access way to practice the game mode, practice the maps through rounds mode against other players. That was so highly demanded from the feedback posts from the top players, and I feel like that could be one of the things, but I don't think that will happen with official integration, because I know some people from Google as well, and just to even add just a small UI change on Google Maps or something like that, it takes like 9 months. So knowing the corporate system with their updates, changes and stuff like that, it's it's not that simple and straightforward. That's also one of the main reasons, is mainly we get fixes and not crazy content updates, but who knows. I have seen people coping that after the World Championship or around that time, since it's gonna be 20th anniversary of Trackmania, that there might be some kind of content update coming, but who knows what we'll be having. Just to give another TLDR, is that situation of this entirely is that starting next year, there's gonna be 10 free tracks only available for free users. The club and standard accesses are gonna be merged. The price is gonna be, let's just say, a mean, I think medium. It's like in the middle between club and standard of 20 a year, and that will be the main financial changes. The main thing now with this is that either Nadeo needs to then support the community events a bit more. They generally need to showcase a lot more content that is payable in the game, because right now the main reason why people are upset about this is the fact that there's only 10 free campaign tracks, and that people will literally have to pay twice just to play Coffee of the Day. And I feel like they literally need to showcase it, that there's way more stuff than Coffee of the Day in the game. That's literally the main thing that needs to now happen. And that this will be happening starting 2024. One of the potential justifications of this change is to convert the free users into paying users, which is perfectly fine in my perspective, mainly because of the financial reports that while the game was doing good, there had been cancelled projects behind the scenes that had been sunking financials, and they're probably doing, this is the reason why they're doing this change, because they mentioned that they really want to make Trackmania as long as possible, which I feel like was one of the backfire things that would have happened from the inner studio projects. You can see all the informations about some canceled projects, even the code name of the projects they were working on in the financial report. If you want to find it, you can probably dug it up somewhere on the internet. I don't really want to put it here directly here or link to it. So if you're very, very interested, you can dig for that. And also that they'll be giving their devs a bit more, break. So then the new campaign is released on January 9th, which personally is a good thing. I would say there's a lot of good things that Nadeo has been doing, but I'll say their communication at some parts has been really skewing with the goals and the intents they really want to do. And that's something that I have experienced. Many developers at Nadeo really want to make sure that, Trackmania is a really cool game, that people play it, and it's just sometimes the perception of the game is different between the community and the developer. And that's why there are these conflicts that kind of happen here and there. Also, one of the big issues for this as well is Trackmania is way too diverse. There's so many people who prefer certain things in the game over other people, and that's why there are always this how can I say, it's like you always push on the pillow and the other side elevates. It's like always this kind of problem. You can't really gain anything out of the situation than just pushing something to the side and just swapping things around the board. But yeah, that will be how it will be. What do you think about this situation? Do you think this pricing model was changed was good or not? And what do you think will be the outcome out of this situation with the pricing changes? I think that will be the main thing that I want to see what people are expecting. Because for most people, this is seen as a negative thing, but I feel like for long term, this can gently be one of those things that can hit let's say, can receive the punch for now, but hopefully it will survive for longevity. Anyway, that's gonna be it for me today. Thank you all for watching, and see you all later. Bye bye.